Good morning, everybody. Mr. Ocampo, thank you, and it's a great pleasure to have you at INFOTEC. For all of you, for us, it's a great privilege and a great pleasure to have you all here with us. With this event, we are formally inaugurating the facilities here for the type of seminars, of events such as this one, which we would like to hold more often. And what a better way to begin with than with a subject of such relevant interest and with such a relevant challenge. We would like to thank the INEGI for their trust in organizing this event on your for you, Mr. Ocampo, and Mrs. Brim, we're also very thankful. And the truth is that we will be discussing the issue of big data conglomerates. And it would seem like we are speaking of something that is absolutely new. However, we know that this is an old topic which we're all familiar with and is acquiring a new dimension. And by trying to grasp huge databases or large databases has led to us having to work from different perspectives. Naturally, we are from a perspective of the challenges of storing it and the transmission and the associated information on validating and also delivering to the public are become more and more complex because of the volume, the speed, the need, the necessary, the urgency of disposing of this data to generate new data. And this is INFOTEC, which is of a center for the analysis of information and technology. This is of great relevance because in the new era, this era which is characterized because of the maturity of information technology, in which the use of this technology is extending to different fields. There is no human activity that no longer has the possibility of generating information and converting this information into knowledge. This gives us the opportunity of turning this into a matter of our interest. At INFOTEC, we have been considering issues that have to do with the interpretation and the storing of this information. Part of our areas of research have to do with visualizing large data conglomerates, and this is a way in which we give attention to the and to generate an outlet for this knowledge and to make it more operational. The storing of this is part of the challenges we need to solve, not only because of aspects that have to do with the large amount of this information and privacy dilemmas, management dilemmas, and dilemmas associated with storing the knowledge at a large scale. Without a doubt, this is an issue of great relevance. The digital strategy, a national digital strategy, incorporates these elements, and the issue of open data is a new issue in our country. However, the expert agency of the Mexican government for making public this information, which is INEGI, is doing this in a very interesting way because it is considering both open data as part of the law and the national system of information, as well as through the dissemination of knowledge related to the subject. So there's not we have nothing left but to congratulate ourselves for being here today. And we thank the INEGI for its trust. And hopefully for you and for us, this is a couple of very interesting days. For the people who are following us via streaming, we thank you as well. And hopefully this is useful to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Sergio Carrera. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to INFOTEC for having us here at their home, their headquarters. At the INEGI, we will invite you to Aguascalientes soon as well, so you can pay us a visit. Not right now because it's too hot, but in due time we will. I bring with me a few words on this. The generation and availability of digital information, as well as the massive use of electronic devices, make possible their use for the generation of official geographic and statistical information. The statistical community recognizes the importance and potential of big data for generation of coherent information for economic, social, and environmental information that support decision making by complementing the traditional information available. The digital universe is composed of the geolocalization coordinates of smartphones, videos and images on YouTube, Netflix and similar videos, Amazon information, bank data generated at an ATM when you put your card in it, security tapes of airports, and great events such as the Olympic Games or what we are all watching right now, the World Cup, subatomic collisions registered by the Great Hadron Collisioner of Switzerland, the digital voice messages and media messages. With the upsurge of big data and data analysis techniques, the digital universe has taken the feel of a geography, a place still with a great potential for mapping. It is estimated that between 2005 and 2020, the digital universe will grow by a factor of 300, from 130 hexabytes to 40,000 hexabytes, or 40 billion gigabytes. From now to 2020, the digital universe will duplicate every 2 years. As the investment in software, hardware, telecommunication services, and staff of that can be considered infrastructure of telecommunications and the digital universe will grow in 40% between 2012 and 2020. Between 2012 and 2020, the participation of emerging markets in the digital universe will grow from 36 to 62%. The majority of the information in the digital world will be created by consumers by watching digital television, interacting through social media, sending images and videos from their smartphones to other smartphones and uploading them to the web, and successively. The companies, however, have the responsibility nowadays of handling more than 80% of the information in the digital universe. They deal with rule compliance as well as trademark protection, even though what is created and consumed in their networks is done so by individuals. Just a very, very tiny part has been, of the digital universe has been analyzed for statistics. By 2020, this will be up to 33% of the digital universe, which will contain valuable or potentially valuable information if analyzed. The term big data has been associated with three characteristics of information, which are summarized as the three V's in Spanish: speed, volume, and variety. There is a fourth one to my consideration, which is vertigo, because for some of the members of my generation, the shock of the future has become more evident. In future shocks, Alvin Toffler refers to exponential growth in the speed of change of different human activities during the 20th century. I don't remember if he made explicit reference to a rhythm at which information production can grow, but if he didn't, this complies with all the characteristics that he mentioned in his book. Big data is only a consequence of the acceleration of the generation of information. Actually, in the book in Shift of Power, he makes us aware of the digital mark that we were leaving back then. The use of credit cards and their relation with consumption patterns is one of the examples I remember. However, having read his books, few things become as patent as what Toffler mentioned of the digitalization of reality, which refers to which occur because of the processors becoming cheaper from the great data centers to our phones depend on these processors. If you add to this the new architectures for the development of software and the great creativity of software developers, both at the national and international levels, this is complemented by physical and optic social media that give context to the subject that brings us here today. Big data is an important step in the search of humanity to quantify the world. Preponderance of things that were not quantifiable, stored and measured are being digitalized today. Harvesting large amounts of data instead of small portions and privileging amount to exactness is leading to different ways of understanding. This leads society to not want to consider causes and to better consider correlations. Multinational organizations such as the United Nations, through its Global Pulse program, the OECD and Eurostat, the agency in charge of official statistics in the European Union, have created projects to explore the use of large volumes of data and through low-cost strategies. National statistics agencies have decided to not be mere spectators, but to become important actors in the development and use of new sources of technology through which they can lead to better knowledge of our society, whether we are trying to attack or consider issues of their responsibility or emerging ones. Big data has the potential of transforming the way in which we conduct our activities. The available technology has led for some informants to capture their information in electronic questionnaires, but can more be done? Can we reach all traditional informants frequently and at a low cost? The potential is there to modify the way in which we collect data from households and establishments. In the case of houses or homes, we could send, aside from an electronic questionnaire, voice, image, to understand what is being asked of them and to ensure that they have a precise response or accurate one. When it comes to establishments, we recognize that the information we request is the aggregate of the information that is already in the systems that are referred to what their everyday activities, including employment and consumption, etc. We should consider this information to give them better attention and reduce their workload and provide them better information for their decision-making process. For new issues, we must consider new informants who may or may not represent the total of society, but who are producing information at a great speed. Facebook, Twitter are additional to the currently existing technologies that can lead us to lower price in the collection of information and are now substituting what used to be the public centers of information, including those of the Nordic countries. Even more so when we use big data of public administration services of the state, for instance, of credit cards or telecommunications, we need to be cautious of who we apply the results of any analysis to and what population this is. We should refer as this for all the people who use a credit card or the people who have a credit card. Therefore, we need to create specific tools for analysis to consider aspects such as this one. Apparently, the use of this information together with the information provided by census or public sector can allow us to have more precise deductions. Aside from the other information we're used to, must we adapt our we need to adapt our techniques. Big data is related to a stochastic data system, which requires that we adapt, or should we develop a new one? This will affect current technologies. For instance, it's not clear how to obtain a forecast in a distributed system, and if we have a large system, a large matrix, and we need to invert it, it leads to numerical problems when we try and do a parallel processing. Therefore, we need to be imaginative because we require alternatives to the traditional methodologies. One way or another, these subjects will be discussed during this seminar, and in these facilities of INFOTEC today. The potentials for the generation of statistical and geographical information that is official in nature through digital media, it will be widely discussed. The legal aspects involved will also be discussed in these meetings, whether it has to do with storage or the analysis of large volumes of information in real time. This will have an important place in the discussions of today and tomorrow. Today we have the possibility to provide different perspectives and share our opinions. I cannot, on the behalf of the Institute and myself, but congratulate myself for this event, and I ensure that it will be a great success. Thank you. I was going to give the floor to Sergio for the initial inauguration, but he gave it back to me. So without further ado, I want to declare this event of INFOTEC and INEGI open, hereby inaugurated, and we wish you best of luck. Hopefully we will find the best results, and we thank the representative of the United Nations was here today with us. And we want to thank you as well. And hopefully this event is of interest.